Hey, hey, it has been a minute, but I am back in the fold. So much has been happening on this end. Okay, I got volume. Um, but I'm back and I got something perfectly timed to share. So if the topic of the video, you may have seen that before you seen the video, I'm not sure. But either way, talking about like what am I doing with my life, right? And so if you're here with me live, do me a favor and say, hey, D, so that I know that you're here. I may or may not be able to see you, but at least I'll know that you're here with me, right? Um, if you know somebody that should hear this or needs to hear this, share this with them. Like share the love, share the wealth. And if for some reason you happen to stumble upon this video and you don't know who I am, I'm Danielle, the coach. I'm a certified life and leadership coach, and I help. Hey, I wish I could see your name. I see a hey D though. Can't see your name. I'm gonna come through and find you later and respond back wherever you commented. But I'm a certified life and leadership coach. And what I do is I help entrepreneurs that are still juggling a 9 to 5 to overcome that mid career crisis and create the life of their wildest dreams. It happens to us at different times, at different stages. I help my clients quit what's no longer serving them with confidence and without regret, whatever that looks like. For some people, is stepping into full-time entrepreneurship sooner than later. For others, it's creating an exit strategy that allows them to logically and strategically unravel the decades of work and time and service that they have building the career, building their reputation, building their brand, and pivoting into something different, whatever that may be. For some people, it is a different job, right, in the interim, a different career. For some people, it is full time entrepreneurship. It pans out differently for different people. And the beauty of it is it gets to look how you want it to look. You get to choose. But that aside, I had a conversation with a client today, and right before we wrapped, she said something that inspired this particular live. And so she said she had a conversation this morning with her husband, and she was just like, what am I doing with my life, right? And that it tickled me because I remember having the same conversation with myself and feeling like my life is out of control. And I love the fact that she's at the space of asking herself that question, because I know many of us as high achievers, go getters, many of us that do so much for so many people and carry so much weight of responsibility, there comes a point in time where we will burn out because we have done a great job of prioritizing everyone and everything else, so much so that we have not filled our own tank, or we've lost sight of who we are and what it is, not only that we are purposed to do, but that we desire to do for us, that makes us happy, that brings us joy. We do that at the expense of our own personal satisfaction, but in service of other people. And so when there's a lack of balance in how we're showing up in the world, how we're spending our energy, and what we're doing to make sure that we live a full life that we love as well, we find ourselves waking up one day, either asking someone or ourselves or God, like, what is it? What am I doing with my life? Or like, my life is out of control. Like, how did I get here? And for me, that's the wall that I am here on purpose assignment to help you tear down unapologetically. But it's also a wake up call for you, and it's an opportunity for you. And what I know is that a couple of things may happen. You'll take that question a couple of ways, and there's a few ways, at least 3 ways that you may respond to it. And I'm going to talk you through those 3 ways here today to see where you may fall, right? The first way that you might respond to it is that you might downplay it, right? You might downplay it and ignore it and say like, oh, well, I'm working, I'm doing what I got to do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Whatever way that you rationalize like what you're doing with your life, like you will find a response for it. Now, whether or not that response sits well with your spirit or not, That's a whole different conversation for a whole different day. But that is one way that you might respond to it. You'll just either downplay it or ignore it. Just like, that's an interesting question for me to ask. That's an interesting thing that I'm pondering for a second. It's just like, oh, well, I'm doing what I got to do. There is no other way to get around it. It is what it is. The second thing that you might do if you find yourself asking yourself or saying this out loud or saying it to a loved one or a significant other is you may, there's no nice way of putting it, you might beat yourself up about it. And to a point where you get so overwhelmed and consumed with the thought of, what am I doing with my life? I'm not doing anything with my life. Like, what do I have to show for it? Which is 9.8 times out of 10 not true for a go-getter. You are doing something with your life. You are doing things with your life. You are accomplished, right? You've just hit a wall. You've hit a wall for a reason, and we're going somewhere. Just stick with me. So the first thing is you might downplay and ignore it. The second thing is you might beat yourself up about it, to the point where you just absolutely do nothing because it brings you to a place that you don't even want to address it. You don't even want to see it. You don't want to acknowledge it because it makes you feel like you failed or like you're a failure. It takes you to that place. The third thing that you may think when you ask yourself, what am I doing with my life, is you'll actually lean into it. You'll face it, right? There's this thing of fight, flight, or freeze. So in this instance, like, you're fighting. You're looking into it, you're facing it. And so one thing that I always tell or share with my clients in support of them leaning into their fears is like, the opposite of running from your fears or letting your fears consume you or paralyze you is facing it. What is it that you're really afraid of, right? What is the root answer to the question of, what am I doing with my life? Well, what are you doing with your life? There is something. You got to where you are, probably intentionally. There are some of us that are just so talented and well versed that opportunity after opportunity after opportunity finds us, and we just go with the flow until the flow no longer aligns with who we are, and until the flow no longer feels good. And so that's when we wake up and we hit a wall. It's just like, wait, how did I get here? And furthermore, how do I get out of here unscathed while being able to maintain my lifestyle, still make good money, because that's where we are in our careers at this juncture in time. And like, how do I just like not really rock the boat? And fortunately or unfortunately, it depends on your perspective and your vantage point. You may have to rock the boat. That may be the only way that you will get out of it. There are some things that are awaiting you on the other side of you leaning into this question of like, what am I doing with my life? Which might lend itself to, well, what's next for me? Which then lends itself to, okay, I have the answer now. Or lends itself to, well, what is my purpose? Like, I want to do something with intention. I want to do something that makes impact. I want to do something that adds value in whatever space that I take up, in whatever organization that I go to next, or whatever business that I may start, or whatever business I may be leaping into full time instead of just dabbling on the side as a side hustle or part time. It lends itself to all, like, opening up literally like Pandora's box. And it can be overwhelming if you let it overwhelm you, right? But no matter what, going back to my point about rocking the boat, you may just have to rock the boat. You may just have to rock the boat to get on the other side of the discomfort, the dis-ease, the unfulfillment, the overwhelm that you feel because you feel like you are tied down, and having to do something that takes up so much of your time, but prevents you from being able to do other things that you really would love to do, whether you know what those things are right now or not. You just know that you wish you had more time to yourself to check other boxes or to explore other avenues, whatever it may be. You know what it is that you've been feeling, right? So you just may have to rock the boat in order to figure out what's next, in order to get clear on what you're doing with your life, and also in order for you to take a part, an active role in this season, this next season that you're getting ready to walk into, with regard to what it is that you're doing with your life. So you can answer that question of, what am I doing with my life, intentionally and confidently, but it all depends on your perspective and your vantage point and how you're willing to face the thing, right? So that being said, I have something that absolutely can support you with answering this question of what am I doing with my life powerfully, objectively, and confidently. And it's my shift experience. And depending on how long you've been following me and where you are following me, you very likely have seen me talk about this. It may seem like ad nauseum, but it's here and there. But the shift experience is coming back. I am hosting the next one on Wednesday, November the 2nd at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is virtual. You don't even have to leave your home. But we are taking intentional time to peel back the layers, focus on you, get clear about what you're doing with your life, get clear about what's next for you, help you break up with the status quo, help you put a muzzle on your inner imposter when it comes to telling you what you can't do, why you can't quit what's no longer serving you, why you can't do something totally different than what you have been trained to do, that you have expertise in at this juncture in your career, at this juncture in your life, at this age, with this parental status, with all of the things that come up when you think about doing something different, all of those thoughts that just hit you immediately, like we're looking to shatter those, like on site. And so the shift experience is designed to help you do just that, shift out of what's no longer serving you and to design a life that you absolutely love, right? And it's going to take some strategic, intentional um, time and methodical steps that I walk you through. I literally hold your hand and usher you through during the shift experience. And I guarantee you, you will not leave the same way that you come, especially if you are tuned in, locked in, without distractions for a couple of hours. That's all I'm asking. That's all the shift experience requires from you, so that you can take back control of your life now, right before too much time passes and you feel like you are super submerged in what I call the quicksand of life, because you get to choose. You get one life, right? And you get to choose. So whether you have been showing up in life and in the world like a leaf blowing in the wind, going whichever way the wind blows you, and unrestricted, right? And without issue, no harm, no foul. But when you reach the point where you feel like you desire control, you're no longer okay with the status quo, how things have been going, you have a decision to make. And that decision is to do something about it, or the decision is to do nothing. And if you choose to do nothing, I need you to understand that that is a decision as well. Just because you don't decide to take an action, it doesn't mean that you're off the hook. No, that means you've decided to do nothing. It means you've decided to accept complacency in a space or spaces and places that are no longer serving you. To everything, there's a time and a season. And it's possible that your purpose assignment, that your divine assignment in this place or these places and spaces that you've been taking up, that the assignment is complete. And for a lot of us, we stay in places and spaces where the assignment has been complete, but we just got comfortable because we are operating in our natural gifts and our abilities, making an impact in spaces, adding value, and we like or maybe even love what we do until we don't. And is at that point when we hit the until we don't, when the rubber meets the road and we hit that wall, and it's just like, whoa, wait a minute, who am I? How did I get here? And where is the closest exit without turning my life upside down? It's okay, don't worry. I got you. That's why I created the shift experience. I've been there, done that, got a couple of those t-shirts. And so I understand what it's like to have to look inward and find oneself, but also to take control of your life so that not only are you designing a life that you love, but you also get to live in it, enjoy it, and experience it, and unapologetically. Like whatever you're seeing right now, this does not have to be the end for you. And what I know to be a fact is that for a lot of people, they accept that this is the end for them for whatever reason. Maybe because they didn't have anybody um, this gospel of unapologeticness and aligning with your purpose and living life your way, right? And making an impact according to your divine assignment. And this is why I am here. And this is why I can't sit on my hands with it. And this is why I have created the Shift Experience. So, like I said before, the doors to the Shift Experience are now open. The next one is taking place Wednesday, November 2nd at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It only requires you to say yes to you for a couple of hours that evening. Under no distractions. You come as you are, and we're going to peel back the layers and really get clear on what's next for you. So there's three pillars that I abide by in my business in service of my clients, and it's clarity about whatever you're unclear about. A lot of times it's what's next, right? Then it's the confidence to do something about the clarity that you now have, that you've now gleaned from our time and our work together, right? It's the confidence to do something about it, confidence to act on it. And then it's balance, balancing the new life that you're creating based on the changes that have ensued as a result of the action you've taken based on the clarity that you've gained. It is the gift that keeps on giving. So then once you manage to balance all of the things in this new way of living, this new way of being, then there's always the next thing that you want to get clear on, because we are on assignment. That your life has a purpose. And if you choose to lean into purpose, if you choose to pursue purpose, if you choose to align with purpose, that's where the game changes. So I want to invite you to the Shift Experience to, and it's an intimate experience. Space is limited. And just because it has been intimate up until now, there is something rich, there is something organic, there is something powerful, there's something magical about what happens in that space that I've created with just a small number of go-getters to really peel back the layers just and to just be, but to also to lean into possibility about what's next. So I've dropped the link in the caption of this video wherever you are watching this. And I'll also share it. You can go to www.daniellethecoach.com/shift, and you can opt in, register, pay right then and there, and you will be registered and your space will be secured. Like I said, space is limited. I have decided to keep this an intimate affair for now, just because I love the ambiance, and I just love the richness of the experience with keeping it small. So if this resonated with you in any way, and you know that it's time for something different, and you just haven't been sure about how to go about activating the change, and if you know that you haven't made a move, you haven't done anything different because you lack the clarity, clarity is what you've been missing. You need to be in the room, the Zoom room, the virtual room on Wednesday, November 2nd at 6 p.m. Eastern. Again, the link is in the caption of the video wherever you may be watching it. And I look forward to serving you. Oh, let me also drop this. So the investment for the Shift Experience is $497. I want to be straight up with you right now on what it is so that there is no surprise when you get there. So there is an investment. And so I want you to think about this from the standpoint of, if you've been thinking about what's next, you've been trying to figure it out, you've been talking to your inner circle, but still to no avail. You may feel like you're misunderstood when you share about having the audacity to even consider doing something different, knowing how successful you've been, how successful you appear from the outside looking in. And that's no shade, because you are successful. However, you're not fulfilled anymore and you desire to do something different. And I'm here to tell you that that's okay. And I also know that it may not be understood by the people that you are closest to. And I want to tell you that that's okay too, which is also why I've created this space for you to be able to think outside the box, for you to challenge the status quo, for you to get clear without outside interference about what it is that you want, so that you can figure out what it's going to take according to your lifestyle and what you have at your disposal to create a life that you absolutely love. When is the last time you really took time out for you to think about your life and what's next in this way, right? Only you know the answer to that. So, again, the link is in the caption of this video, wherever you're watching it. I cannot wait to serve you and take you on this journey of the shift experience. And I will see you there on Wednesday, November 2nd at 6 p.m. Eastern. If you know somebody that you think needs to hear this, if you know somebody that you think needs to be at the shift experience, please share this video with them, so that they can hear what I had to say, and hopefully their spirit may be moved or convicted and they'll be in the room. So definitely bring a friend. You don't have to do this alone. If you know somebody else that is kind of on the same wavelength, and you both can be supported in that way. All right, I'll see you next time.